Hello, welcome to How It Plays. I'm your host, Anthony.
And I'm Francis. And today
we have some great updates.
An update.
Yes.
An update video.
Update video.
Update video. Your favorite kind of video.
It seems that way. These are definitely the videos that get the most action.
Yeah.
Most activity.
Yes.
Most clicks.
Yeah, so many clicks.
Right.
But they're important too because we have so much going on all the time. So this is a great opportunity for us to let you know kind of what's been going on with us and what to expect coming forward, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So we have a few things on the old agenda today.
Today isn't really a status video of where we've been and where we're going. Today is really an update video on a couple of pretty major announcements, I would say.
Yeah.
And developments that I think you'll all be very interested in.
Yes, for sure.
But before we jump into any of that, we're going to talk about our Origins game table.
Yes, update on our table, because I think we've had this for about, oh my goodness, it's been at least a year and a half. I think I was pregnant when we got the table.
Well, we haven't been in this house
time.
more than 2 years.
I know.
So the table hasn't been.
It was about 2 years. Yes, it's been about 2 years. So we've had it for about that long. Obviously, it's been in this same spot.
Yeah.
Haven't moved it or anything.
We've filmed on it many, many days and nights. We've not been very careful with it, to say the least. I climb on it each and every time we do a video multiple times. I literally stand right here because there's an overhead camera that I have to get the memory card out of and do the settings on it. So I'm standing literally on this table every time we film. So and it's rock solid.
Yeah.
It doesn't budge. This table is solid.
And it's funny too. We've got like microphones and lights and like all kinds of crap like all around the table. And we have kids that like to run around the basement a lot too. So I know that there have been some run-ins. Yeah,
but it's held up. It's stood the test of time for sure.
Yeah.
And we've recently re-graphicked the play surface.
Right.
Which we did ourselves.
So cool.
We had gotten the actual. I guess this is like canvas or vinyl or whatever it is.
It's not canvas or vinyl.
Okay, it's like some
like
kind
suede.
of like suede
It's
material.
It's poker fabric.
Poker fabric. But it was with the new logo on it, and it was easy peasy to put on. So
this if you don't know this, the table comes like with a board that you sink into the inset, and you can actually push. Actually, you can push it up through the bottom.
Yeah, this whole surface, it's a board. It comes right out, and you can put a new surface on it, and it's like it's like a brand new table already. Yeah. Which is fantastic. So, why do we say all this? Because there is another Origins Kickstarter.
Yeah, coming out. I don't know if they're calling it like season 2, but essentially they have a new product coming out, and it's a coffee table.
Coffee gaming table, which I find intriguing.
I find it intriguing too because we film on this table and we might play on this table as we prepare. Yeah. But we do a lot of our casual gaming upstairs. Upstairs
on the coffee table.
So, on our small coffee table.
We use the heck out of we have a regular coffee table. We don't have a gaming table. Would love to go to that at some point. Yeah. But ever since we had the baby, we haven't done it because she, little parts and babies don't get along. Yeah. They like to eat everything. So we haven't done it in a while. But nevertheless, this is Origins new coffee table, gaming table looks pretty legit.
It like kind of folds out, I guess, like and becomes
we're gonna
like
show.
a regular
We'll throw some
surface,
graphics up.
Put some pictures
so you'll probably be looking at it as we're talking here, but but very interesting, very intrigued on this one. And like we said, our experience with this table has been nothing but positive. Yeah. We now here's the deal. We have the first gen table. Yes. Like the original Origins table. They do have a second gen now.
Yeah.
Right?
So they have for 2022. So chances are, if you bought this table like any time prior to this year, you have the number 1 table or the table. Version 1 what we have. The new table from what we understand. Its dimensions are a little bit different. I don't know if it's like a little bit wider or taller or something like that.
But it's changed.
A little tiny bit different. And they've also made some changes to, I think, things like the cup holders here, I think are now countersunk. So instead of sitting on top, I think they kind of
they're below
countersink a little bit. And then they also updated, and this was something that we actually heard from some folks about, if you got the dining top to go on top, which we didn't get any of these crazy accessories,
right?
It would slide around a lot because it's
wood on wood.
It was wood on wood or whatever. And if you have one like ours, like we have the painted, so it's very glossy. So it would move around a lot, the leaves, as you're playing. If you're playing on
shouldn't be playing on the leaves, in my opinion. But if you put them on top and then you actually are eating on the table, they slide around. So they've put rubber footings on them now.
Exactly.
So it's not going to go anywhere, which you could have done on your own if you had the first version. But that's fixed. I think did they do something with the USB?
I don't know.
They moved them. Yeah,
I don't know if they moved them or not. But I know they something about these things too. I don't know what the problem was because ours are fine.
Yeah.
But I know that they made these like a little more sturdy. Anyway, I think
there's a whole bunch of updates.
Took some feedback from the last 2 years, redesigned the thing a little bit, made some changes, and now it's back up. And I think they're on a discount right now. So,
okay. But look, we're gonna put a bunch of links below. Go check it out. If you want to go look at the tables, you're thinking of buying one, the links will bring you there. And you go check for yourself, see if it's something that like if you're in the market for a table. Like I said, we've heard some negative things about the table, but then they've been addressed with the new version, which is great. None of those things we experienced ourselves because we don't have all the bells and whistles on the table.
Yeah, we didn't get like USBs and like the tabletop thing and all that.
No, but it's like I said, it's solid and it's done. It's done us a good service.
So here's the thing. So the campaign for the coffee table is launching next week, or March 29th, in case you're watching this like next week. And so you can go there. We'll have the link. I think they're also bringing out like 4 new accessories for the Origins table as well. So if you have the Origins table, if you want to get one, I think they have some additional accessories, and some of those are like yet to be revealed.
Like add-ons, I guess, for your table upgrades.
I know they have like dividers and stuff you can put in here and all kinds of stuff. So
all right, definitely worth checking out if you have one of these.
Check out, yes. I think that was all I wanted to say about the accessories.
Okay, so look again, the links are below. Go check it out if you're in the market for a table. If you're in the market for expanding to get a coffee table because you like playing games in your living room like we do.
I know, I would.
I definitely would go check that out too. So links are below. That's about it for the Origins tables.
Yes. Okay. So what's next?
All right.
Let's talk about our videos.
Video format. So if you've been a follower of our content, you've noticed a slight change in the formatting.
Yeah.
Of what we've been putting out. And you may like it, you may hate it. I mean, it's definitely different. What we've always done, I think when we made our big shift and sort of settled into our groove, it's been the playthrough review, right? That that was our thing. We do a full playthrough followed by our thoughts. And we recently decided that just based on analytics and stuff like that, it doesn't look like people are really watching. At least most people are not watching the full video. Most people on average are watching like 10 minutes of it. So we'd put our all this time into a 2-hour video for somebody to watch for 10 minutes. Watch the beginning, skip around a little bit, and go to the end. Like, that would be it. So,
well, and I'd say, when we say we put time in, it's not just playing the game, because playing the game is fine. Like, we don't mind doing that.
Yeah.
But it's the editing afterwards. He'll sit there and actually watch through the entire playthrough after we edit, because we want to make sure that, there wasn't some weird
fixing
thing left
any
in
rules
there.
things that I did or any edit,
so it's
clips and cuts. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of hours to sit, and I just don't have the time, frankly, to do it anymore. Started a new job.
Yeah.
So it's that I've only been at a few months, but I've been, that's where all of my brain power is going there. So that to sit at my computer and edit for like 3 hours a night, it's just not happening. So we decided that we're going to just consolidate what we're doing, like condense it down.
Right.
Into something that's a little bit more, in my opinion, digestible, right? So we play about 20 minutes worth of the game.
20, 30 minutes.
20 to 30 minutes of the game, depending on the game. We play the first, from the beginning till about 30-minute mark, and then we skip to the end.
Yeah. Right before scoring.
Right before scoring. And then we'll do our final scoring so you get to see what that looks like, and then we'll talk about it.
Yeah, or right before. I think we've done a few where we did it. We came back like in the final round. Like, okay, game's about to end.
Yep.
Here's where we're at, and here's how we're going to wrap this up.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So
it depends on the game, because there are certain games that have like big events that occur, and maybe it switches to a completely different thing at some point.
Yeah.
We want to capture like those high points, but if it's really just, a lot of games are just you start the game and then The mid game is just samey.
It's like going on a flight. Yeah. Right? So you've got like your ascent.
Take off.
And you're ascending, and it's like, once they come around with like, well, they don't do peanuts anymore, but it's like, all right, ding, seatbelts off. Pretzels now. And we're just like cruising altitude.
Yeah.
You guys are like falling asleep. You're drinking your Sprite.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You don't want to watch that.
You're not excited again until it's time to descend.
Right.
You know? So that's, I think,
so we come back when we're circling the Philadelphia International Airport, and then you get to see the landing with us, and then we talk about the flight.
Yeah.
Like, that's really what it is. So you're going to see takeoff, you're going to see landing, and then you're going to hear us talk about the flight experience. Like, that's what we kind of like really want to consolidate this to. So our videos should be anywhere between 35 to 45 minutes.
I would
Hour
say
being the most.
I'm sort of like, advertising them as like less than 60 minutes.
Yeah, less than 60. But that's our way long, 60. But if it's a game that only plays in 25, 30 minutes, we'll play the whole game.
Right, exactly.
Like, there's no reason to cut that down, but it's for these like 2-hour jobs that are like, ugh. Yeah. But we've been doing them lately. They're a breeze to edit.
Yes.
They are much more fun for us to film because we only have to film about 30 minutes, and then we just turn the cameras off and just play.
Yeah. And what's funny about it, too, is that, and I'm thinking about this from like a logistical standpoint, while we're filming, you guys don't get to see this part, but, we do a lot of like, obviously you're making sure you're getting the rules right, which we continue to do.
Yeah.
But like if we want to check something, we turn the cameras off, we check, we make sure we come back. You never see that because we edit it. And I say we, the universal we, but it's Anthony, making sure that everything looks really seamless. But the nice thing is that we do have a baby on the way, another baby. So I'm due in like 7 weeks from today. So for us to be able to turn the camera off and continue playing gives me the opportunity to like, okay, baby's sitting down here in the bassinet. He's sleeping. We can knock out 30 minutes of a video, turn the camera off. I can nurse while we're playing the rest of the game or whatever we need to do, or if he's crying or whatever. It allows us to have the lifestyle, because like when Leona was born, we were still playing a lot of games, but we weren't filming as much.
No, we weren't.
Because frankly, like we just couldn't do it. Yeah. So I think that this will be more a way that keeps us on air a lot more.
It keeps the content coming, right? Because we do have a lot.
We have a lot to cover, and we're
a lot
excited
of games
about
to cover
it.
still.
And I think this will be a good compromise. I'm excited about it.
It's been a good compromise. And look, we've been putting out videos every other week. We'll try to get back into a better groove, I think, at some point, because we need to kind of pick the pace back up. It's just been, I'm off every other Friday, so it's been convenient to just do that.
Yeah.
Like today, I'm off. So we're able to do stuff like this, just put some videos. Like, so we put out a video this morning, we're putting out this video this afternoon. So it's able to give us some time to do that, but I think we're going to try to find more time, hopefully, to get to squeeze a few more videos in, because we do have a queue of games that we want to get through.
We have a lot to get through. But we've been very, 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 very busy.
Yep, on the next topic.
So,
right, so let's cut to the
go
next.
to that.
All right, so this is the main event.
The big event.
The big
Most of you probably just skipped to this.
Skipped right to this part, so yeah. But that's fine. We appreciate that.
Yeah.
Because this is really what's the most important of this entire video. Like, this is really the reason. Because look, we've been sort of, I'll call it teasing. We've been teasing this new website and this new project of ours for the past year.
Yeah.
And all through COVID, right? And probably more.
Through the second half of COVID.
Yeah, second half of COVID. Like, this has been just a lot of talk and no show, right?
It's show and tell time.
Yeah, it's time for us to walk the walk now. Like, because we've been promising you, hey, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. And we are now in the final stretch of launching the board game Nexus. And
I wouldn't even call it a stretch.
Yeah, I mean, this is it. Like, our developers are essentially done. Like, they're done, and they're testing right now. Basically for the next, sort of time period. We won't give out exactly when, but we're talking weeks now, like literally weeks. Like, we're not even joking here, because there's no real delays that can happen because it's pretty much done.
Yeah.
Exactly. But we are ready to now start revealing what it looks like.
Yeah, we want to share a couple of things with you guys, and also now that it's done and we know what we're going to have 100% at launch. we want to share a little bit of that with you because I know a lot of you have been holding on and holding out and waiting. And again, we really appreciate that. So, so let's kick it off. I guess we could start by talking about some of the features maybe, or do you want to talk about what to expect kind of pre and post launch?
Well, I mean, I guess we could talk about, let's start with the basics, right? Because let's just start like at the 10,000 foot level.
Since we're still in the plane, right?
And they'll take it down, because basically, like all you know is that, hey, we have a board game Nexus website coming.
Yeah.
And we read the comments out there. We're not very interactive on a lot of things just because we're not.
We're not interactive people.
And so we just kind of watch and kind of gauge sort of like the temperature of what people are thinking and there's a lot of excitement. I think people are looking for a change, which is really good. But what we set out to do was create a website that people can go to and enjoy the hobby, enjoy their collection, and really just experience board gaming, right? In the digital space online, right? Yeah. And basically, so a lot of comments are, why do I need that? I already have another website over here, right? And we get that, but I always tell Francis, I say, okay, that's like saying, why do we need to build a Chick-fil-A when we already have Burger King or McDonald's, right? Why do we need a Five Guys when we have McDonald's?
Or why do we need GameFound when we already have Kickstarter?
We already have Kickstarter, right? So that's how we try to really say, like, why not, right? Because you're not limited to using just one place, right? You go one place for one thing, then you go somewhere else for something else, right? Because each location, each website, each restaurant, they all do something a little bit better, right?
Yeah, well, or different for different groups of people.
For different groups of people. Like some websites just feel better, right, when you use them. Like I know which ones I prefer to go to. I don't go to like Game Pro. I go to IGN. Like I know where I want to go because that's where I'm used to it. That's where it's comfortable, and it's not like overwhelming, right? So what we wanted to build was something that anybody, even someone who doesn't even really know a lot about board games, can come to our website and be like, oh, this is familiar. Oh, this looks pretty interesting. And it's very intuitive. It's not overwhelming. I'm not getting sucked into all sorts of other stuff that I really don't want to get involved in.
Yeah, it's
I'm
kind
looking
of
at
sleek
just board games.
And like you said, intuitive, I think, and accessible.
Yeah, and I'm not getting like just too much information, right? Yeah. So I think that's what we were trying to do. So we try to create a very clean, a very sleek interface that allows you to, like we said, enjoy your collection. So let's start with the basics on the website, right? So tell them a bit about our database.
Yes, absolutely. So we have at present, and I just did our final pre-launch update, I guess, with a bunch of games from the last year or so. And we have about 16,000 titles in the collection right now. This has been this whole thing's been a lot of work.
Yeah, she's done countless hours of work to pull this library of games together. Now, you're probably saying, oh, you probably just took it from over here.
Yeah.
The answer to that is no, we didn't. We didn't take a single title from any other board gaming website like that. This was all sourced from many different locations in the public
space, but I'll tell you this, we wanted to be really intentional about this collection. So there are, and that's one of the reasons why we didn't just want to take okay, well this is what these people have, we'll just take that and use that,
right?
Because we wanted to intimately know everything that's going to be in this collection. And there's a lot of fluff that's kind of accrued over the last 20 years in board gaming, 25 years in board gaming, I guess. A lot of print and plays, Kickstarters that never funded, stuff that's not really available. One-off promo card of some guy who you don't know.
Who doesn't even do content anymore.
Right, exactly. It's not really a board game. Yeah. So we were very intentional with what we brought in. We also kind of benchmarked this by looking at the collections of our folks that signed up to help us with the beta. This is one of the ways that they helped, was to submit their collections to us so that we could kind of spot check and make sure that we had we had what people needed. You know what I mean? So there likely will be a few titles that maybe you have on your list that could be a promo or something else that doesn't exist yet. But I am confident that 95% of you are going to have everything that you need.
At least from a core game and an expansion level.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. That's what we really focus on.
Because that's really what we believe is the crux of what most people's collections consist of, and that you'd really need to track.
You want to keep track of, exactly.
Do I need to track all 6 promo miniatures that I have from Descent? Like, no, I really don't think I need to do that. If it's an actual expansion, sure.
We do have some promos in there. Like we do have some stuff like that. But we're again, like I said, being very intentional about which games we're kind of allowing, like packs and things like that. Some games you need them. Like that's what makes the game.
Yeah. Are we going to put in every Magic the Gathering card and set? No. You're not going to find that here. Pokemon cards, no. You're not going to find that here. This is tabletop games. Right. These aren't like these collectible card games for the most part.
Yeah. So that being said, we have our collection of stuff. How are you going to be able to use it? So everybody who creates an account will be able to load in their games. So you'll be able to go in and say that your game belongs to a certain list. We have kind of pre-constructed lists for you once you sign up. So you have your owned game list. You have a want list, so you can add things to kind of like a wish list. We have a played games list, which is just really populated by you saying, I played this game. I played this game again. I played this game again.
Count your plays.
Oops, I didn't actually play this game. Let me reduce that number. Yeah. So that'll allow you to count your played games. It'll show you how many times you've played, all that kind of thing. So that list is there. We gave you a game night list because I was thinking about user experiences while we were building this website, obviously. And I'm thinking, wouldn't it be cool if you could just put together your game list for game night? Maybe it's games you own. Maybe it's games you don't own. Maybe it's games your group has decided you're going to play. You can make that list. And now you have your game night list, which as you're going through game night, you can say, okay, cool. Now I'm going to say, I played this game. I played this game. I played this game. Maybe you pull up the Nexus while you're at game night and you click on that game because it's in your game list. And there's the playbook right there. So you have your rule book ready to go. PDF. It's not something you have to download or log in to do. You've got it right there. So you like the game. I'm going to add that to my want list. All right, adding it to my want list. I'm going to take it out of my game night list because we're making a new list for next week.
Yep.
So that's kind of like the flow that I expected to see with that list. And I'm really excited about that.
Yeah.
In addition to that, we do have a trade list, which is really just for you to say, maybe these are games I don't want in my collection anymore, but I do own them. So trade or sell, something like that, to keep you organized that way.
Now, there's no interface to trade between players yet. So just... that doesn't exist at this time. That's something that we want to definitely look into down the road.
Yep. Yeah. I'm trying to think if I think those are the big ones. So we have 6 lists. Oh, and a favorites list.
And a favorites list. So you've got your list. So you can organize your collection by list. Now, what about sorting?
Yes. So you'll be able to sort your collection as well. So this was another thing that was kind of a piece of feedback that we got from folks when we were sort of dreaming this thing up. And that was like, maybe we're looking for games in my collection. I've got like 4 friends over and we need a game that plays 6 or more, right? But I don't just want to look for games that play like within a certain range, or maybe I do, like you can sort by range, but you can also sort by min and max player count. So I can look for all the games that play 6 or more. I can look for all the games that play like at most 6 people, that kind of thing. So hopefully that gives you some flexibility as well. And you can organize your collection in a variety of ways too. So if you want everything listed alphabetically, I think that's the default. So if you wanted to quickly alphabetize your physical collection, you just go to Nexus and you pull up your collection and have somebody pull games while you tell them what the name of the game is. And you have to think about alphabets. So in addition to that, sorting by mechanic, theme, all of the usual like game features, any characteristic that we have tagged on the game, you can sort your collection by that. And I guess you could even get kind of crazy and like pull out, okay, show me my collection and also all my Vidalis Laird games. So you can make sure you've got them all in one place or whatever. So I think there's a lot of ways that you'll be able to kind of organize and keep things, structured within your collection there. The way that it's laid out, and we can probably try to show.
Well, yeah, we're going to be throwing up screenshots throughout, so you could actually see what it looks like.
We, from a visual standpoint, we wanted it to look less like a list and more like a nice grid, almost like you would see them on your shelf if they were face out. So your lists are all, you can visually see the boxes of your games and things, and that was really important to us because a lot of these the box art's beautiful.
Beautiful, and I want to see what my collection looks like right on the screen, because I think it just makes it more real to me.
One thing that we did build in just for fun, and this was me and our developers were like, why? Yeah. I'm like, please, let's just do it. Is I did include an attribute for box color. And the reason I did this is because I wanted people to be able to sort their collection by color. So we have ours sorted like rainbow or whatever.
Yeah, like we do.
Totally
we do the whole
just
color
for
rainbow.
fun. I don't even know if I recommend sorting your physical collection that way, but a lot of people like to.
I think it looks cool.
It looks cool.
Yeah.
And honestly, I would say it's hard to find. Maybe it's hard to find games, but then again, if you're using this companion to your physical collection, you can say, okay, I'm looking for Lisboa. Oh, there it is.
You'll know where it is because you'll have your collection sorted by box
Exactly.
color, which is how your shelves are sorted, which you just need to look on your list and say, okay, it's down here. This is my third shelf. That's where it is.
So that is not available yet, mostly because we still
have to fill in the
need
data.
to fill in all that data doesn't
colors,
exist.
yeah.
I have been going through and doing what I can where I can.
Yeah.
But that will be something I think probably for phase 2 of this project. But it is still cool and exciting and I'm looking forward to it.
It's neat. So. It's just a neat thing you can do. And like we said, this is about you managing your collection. Not just a bunch of names of games, but actually managing.
Just intimately managing your collection.
You've spent a lot of money on these games. You continue to spend a lot of money on these games. You care for them. You sleeve your cards. You protect the boxes. You put them on the shelf. Like, these are your prized possessions.
Yeah.
Why not treat them like that when you're managing it online too?
We do have some statistics that are built in as well. So as you load in your collection, you'll be able to see things like your top mechanic or your top mechanics. You'll be able to see whether you're either a collector or a player. So I know that some of us are motivated in the hobby by just collecting stuff. And you've got this, like, we say shelf of shame, but honestly, like, maybe you just like to collect games. And that'll be based on your plays. So if you've played the games,
because we want to we want you to learn more about yourself as a gamer.
Exactly.
So we want the system to be able to kind of do those calculations for you based on the size of your collection, the type of collection you have, and how many plays you've got, what games are you actually playing more of. Like, really good analytics about, like, what do I actually like? I'm like, wow, I play a lot of fantasy games. I didn't even realize I'm that into RPGs, and that's like. So now you know, like, you're an RPGer. Like, that's...
Right.
You may not know that. You may just assume that, but you may not know it. So, like, this is what we want. Now, all that is not fully fleshed out, but the backbone and the foundation's there to do it.
Yeah.
But we're going to build on that going forward.
So that's, I think, that's kind of the collection management piece, like the user collection piece.
Yeah.
Other user account features would be things like, obviously, rating games, reviewing games.
Yeah, so this is important.
Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so
how came to that?
What we didn't want to fall into is really leaning into people just rating games willy-nilly, and then based on their feeling about the game, the theme, the designer, the publisher, and like, oh, I'm going to pump up this game, or I'm going to hate on this game because of this, and it's just, we didn't want that to happen. So we definitely put in some controls in there. So you want to go through the
couple of the controls? Yeah, sure. So, I mean, obviously, as a user in the system, and we'll talk about polls and surveys and things like that later too, you're limited. Like, if you upvote something, whether it's a comment or a review or whatever, if you click the like button, all you can do is click like and unlike. Like, that's it. Like, you only get to do it one time. You can't, like, smash it. It knows you're logged in. You can only do it one time. You've already voted, basically.
Right.
That being said, we've created a couple of tiers for membership.
This is
very important. And if you are just a kind of a casual viewer to the website, you can come, you can look at games, you can view some of the results, some of the poll results and data and articles that we have. will all be available. No, I'm saying like as a viewer.
Oh, as a viewer.
Okay. So you don't create an account.
Okay.
So there's a lot you can do just
without being an account holder.
Visiting the website.
Yeah, that's very, very top. You're just popping in. You're you're not logged in.
Yes.
You can just look at the database and all normal stuff. Read articles.
As if you create an account, you will be able to create your collection, manage your collection, do all the things that we said that you could do, just a minute ago. You're also able to provide feedback in ways that don't involve writing anything. So that is, like I said, you can like things. You can, thumbs up. You can vote in polls because we've already constructed the responses for you. So you just say, this is my answer, basically. You can still view results, all of that kind of thing. But anything that's like written, so reviews, questions, answers, things of that nature are not, they kind of off limits.
It's blocked off.
So you create an account. That account is associated with your email address. You can't spam the email address. I'll just forewarn you because we will be the way that it's set up is you will get a password reset sent to your email address that you provided when you signed up, and that will be your temporary password. Yeah. So you, in order for you to actually create spam accounts to log in and stuff, you'll actually have to create real email accounts and stuff too. So it's not like just put in a name and a password and you're good. But that being said, we created a final tier that will be a paid tier. And we're looking at nominal payment here.
Yeah,
I think we're talking about like $5
a year,
something for
a year, honestly.
Yeah.
So think of it as a donation if you want. It's helping keep the lights on the site. But what it's also doing is creating a level of accountability, right? Because if you could just keep creating emails and creating fake accounts, then you can go and you can do as much damage as you want to a site if we gave you the keys and said, go do what you want, right?
Right.
But if you've got to pay $5 to create an account that allows you to write reviews, user reviews.
User reviews, yeah.
And contribute to the question and answer on any game page, right? Because we want that. We want to build out an interactive question and answer for publishers, designers, all of them to come in.
Which I'll talk about in a bit.
We'll talk about in a bit. But we want to make sure that we create this tier because there has to be accountability and there has to be risk of you losing your account because anybody can create fake accounts, do the damage they want, then we ban the account, then you just create another one, do it again, and then do it again. But if it's costing you $5 every time you do that, you're probably not going to do it more than a few times. So we think this will be really good. Plus, we will have your real name.
Yeah, exactly.
And we'll be able to block you personally from the website if you're damaging it, right? But we hope there's not a lot of bad actors, but we know there are. Yeah. It's just the reality of it, right? It's the internet, and we've seen these people. We've seen what they're capable of doing. We don't have any tolerance for it here, and that's part of what we've really built in the Nexus is a truly safe and neutral space for everybody to come and enjoy the hobby without room for trolls. There's no room for trolls here because
we tried to do. We tried to make a space that just there isn't room for you to kind of behave badly, but the little areas where maybe you could. Right. We've just put in a couple. We've put in a couple
extra layers of control that we can have accountability, and we basically took away people's ability to be trolls. So they could be a troll. Yeah. We'll just never know because you won't be able to see that on the website. Yeah. So that's what it is. But that $5 will get you, the ability to do all of these great things.
Yeah, so reviewing the games. Reviewing games, writing reviews on games, posting pictures of your games. Yeah. All loaded onto that games page so everybody can see it. And we really wanted to highlight user experiences, so people that are actually playing these games. I'm always amazed when we meet people that, have played games 20 times, 25 times, 30 times. And, we're lucky if we might get in enough plays to review the game at one time, and then we don't see it for a year. Yeah. Maybe. So I love the passion that's in the hobby among gamers. Yeah. And I think that's where we really wanted to focus our reviews and things like that. So,
we want to see gamer reviews. This isn't like, hey, I go onto a webpage and all I see are content creator reviews, right? Right. Because quite frankly, you can go see them somewhere else. Yeah. What we want to do is highlight the whole premise of the Nexus is to highlight the community and you, the gamers. You guys are the stars here. So we want you to create your own reviews. And we know people love to write their own reviews on games. You guys play the hell out of these games, more than we do. So I want to hear what you have to say about this game. I want that to be part and highlighted on our webpage. And if it's good enough, we'll even make it a true review on the front page. Yes, we're gonna promote these users you as the reviewers. Like you're going to be the stars of the show. Like you guys are. And that's what we want to do here. This isn't like a parade of content creators. Like that's not what we're intending here at all.
Yeah. So it's going back to kind of, this sort of premium account idea.
Yeah.
We do have that, you have the ability to rate your games and all that kind of thing, which is important. In addition to that, we've included a couple of other things that we'll kind of release, I think, as we get closer.
Mm-hmm.
But there'll be things like we'll help you upload your collection. So like if you have your collection already in an Excel spreadsheet or you can get it, we can help you.
Yeah, if you have your collection stored somewhere else on the internet and you want to just download it.
You've got a collection of 600 games like we do, and you don't want to go through and click each one and say, I have this, I have this.
Yeah, if you can download that from wherever you have it stored out there in the webs into an Excel spreadsheet, we can get that thing loaded for you right quick.
But things like that. So more information on that and kind of those sorts of features to come. But I think that kind of wraps up the user piece.
I think so. As much as we need to talk about right now. So what do you want to talk about next?
Let's talk about features for publishers.
Okay.
All right. We took a break and I poured water all over myself.
Yeah, not like Flashdance pouring water all over yourself, but like just dribbling water
just
out of a water bottle.
Not sexy at all. Okay. So let's talk about publishers and some things that we have that are kind of targeted towards that community, I guess, right? So the first thing we want to talk about, I guess maybe we'll start with this because we didn't talk about this in the user section, but across the site, in addition to just your user portals, right? We have a whole website. So we've got articles, we have kind of things coming. We will have a few, I don't want to call it a network, but we have a few folks that are close to us that will be providing some very specialized content
Now look,
in certain areas.
When I mentioned like this isn't a parade of content creators, we do have a few close personal friend content creators.
It's not a parade, it's more of a concert.
Yeah, it's more of a concert. We have a few friends who are content creators that we obviously can't do all the content ourselves. That would be crazy. We just don't have the time. So we have a couple of very close friends who decided to join this journey with us and provide content for you guys. So I think it's really it's really good, and I think you're going to be excited about what you see.
Yeah, and we have a couple different landing pages where we'll be able to feature some content in the space of education and family games. Because again, we want this to be an accessible site for maybe folks that aren't really into board gaming right now, but could be. So we have somebody kind of specializing in that. We also have kind of a new to board gaming section where we like to feature sort of like gateway games and some other things to kind of get people into the hobby, information about board gaming, that kind of thing.
Mechanics, learning, understanding mechanics, terminology, all that stuff.
And then what's most exciting for I think most people is a crowdfunding landing page.
Yeah.
So we do have a kind of a site within a site, if you will, that is all about crowdfunding. So this is going to be a repository for all things, all games coming to GameFound, a lot of stuff coming to Kickstarter, all in one place that are part of the collection that you can easily, again, organize, manage, add to your lists in any way you want.
Now, it's not going to be every single game on Kickstarter that qualifies as tabletop because you all know what's out there. And we're not bringing all that stuff in. So
there's a lot of weird stuff.
A running theme you're going to see with this website is like we have a very high threshold for quality of what goes onto this website.
Right.
So we don't want to like just open the gateway and just let people just start uploading stuff.
Yeah,
because like we don't want just like every single video out there on our website. We don't want every single picture out there on our website. We want this to be very clean, very neat, and very intentional.
Well, and I think we know just based on being in the content creator space for the last like 5.5 years, 6 years, whatever. We know what kind of gets proposed, and like we've been proposed some very interesting
rough
things.
games.
Like,
that
I'm saying like rough, also thematically like
just
adult party
very
games,
dirty,
like,
just like crazy
so
ideas.
We do want to moderate a little bit, but instead of moderating, we're sort of just preventing.
We're filtering that stuff out for you guys. Like, look, if there's a game that we think that we didn't know about, somebody says, "Hey, put this up here," we'll put it up, and we think it fits, right? So, like GameFound, we find like everything they put up has been
it's pretty quality because they have their own quality assurance.
Yeah, they do. So they filter that stuff out ahead of time, which is something that Kickstarter absolutely fails on.
Right.
So GameFound, you're going to find everything from GameFound on there. Kickstarter, you're going to find a curated collection of things that are coming out campaign-wise.
Yeah, I think it's tough. It's unfortunate actually because I know I find browsing Kickstarter it's hard to find things, like even the way that they sort everything. It's hard to
brutal.
find, like,
the
you have to
interface is
shift
brutal.
through all this stuff that I'm like, isn't, like, it's tabletop, but is it really like what I would consider board gaming? And like, it's just tough. So what we have, again, is a kind of a curated collection of things that are coming. Now, for publishers, right? You have the ability to upload your stuff, submit your stuff, I guess I should say, to us, using a very intuitive form that kind of walks you through, your game name, give us all the stats on the game. It's very, very similar to the kinds of things that we ask when we are going to review a project or when we're going to work with a publisher. So it should be very familiar. You can upload your media kit right there so that we can take a look at everything. And it'll even guide you towards like the services that we offer in terms of reviews and things like that. So very simple workflow process, very quick turnaround. This kind of pre-populates everything in our database. And then we just have to go in and say like, yeah, everything looks good.
Yeah, we just clean it up and give it the final approval.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So it sounds kind of simple, but
yeah. But also keep in mind one very important thing with regards to review and ratings that we didn't talk about is that anything that's not published will be in our database, so it'll be a crowdfunding game, but users do not have the ability to add a rating.
Correct.
You cannot rate an unpublished game because you shouldn't be able to rate an unpublished game.
Right.
So just rest assured, until that game gets published, it can't be rated. If the game never funds, it gets removed from the database.
Yeah. Now, that being said, you will see publishers and other people. We do have like kind of a trending algorithm that will pump up games that are trending because people are clicking on them.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean it's not equivalent to a rating. So
it's trending, just means that more people are going to that game page, right?
Exactly.
What we want to do at some point is create some analytics around actual games that are being added to user collections, because I think that's where the rubber hits the road from a publisher perspective, at least from what I would think if I were publishing games, is I don't really care about who's clicking on my game page as long as if they're not buying the games, right? If those are translating into sales and people are adding my game to their collection consistently across the user base, that's what I want to know,
right?
Because none of those two things don't equal each other,
right?
And I think we were learning that over the last few years, where you've got this hype wagon and then games kind of just fizzle out.
Right.
And no one talks about them anymore.
We were talking this morning about this, and we were saying, like, I'm curious, like, games that a lot of people add to their owned list, let's say, right? But then very quickly go onto the trade list.
Right.
And then 6 months later, you're not seeing them being added to people's owned list as quickly or at a high rate.
Exactly. So, we want to show those metrics and say, hey, you know what? This game that you guys all thought was the bomb, it's actually hasn't been added to a collection in the last 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks. Like, nobody's buying this game.
And we want to share that with everybody.
But
so this is all information that like
not just publishers.
Eventually we'll be able, we want to collect, but yeah, we want to share this with
as a community, you guys deserve to know these things. There's a lot of assumptions in our hobby and in our community space about what people think, what people like, what people are buying, what's actually hot right now. But there's really no hard, fast data that we're seeing to prove that.
Right, yeah, and in talking to some publishers that we know and things, it's tough because you've got, kind of like various social media groups that you can try to ascertain what the temperature is on certain things, but it's hard because, again, not everybody's in those groups. Not everybody's on Facebook.
Twitter and Facebook don't always translate to sales, right?
And not everybody's going to be on our website either, obviously. But
exactly, but it'll give us a feel.
This provides a feel. Right. And I think that's kind of what we're going for. So
we want to just demystify the marketing, because you got to remember, like, publishers are looking to they're paying people to advertise their games, and they need to know if that's actually working. Right? And if the people that they've been paying to advertise really isn't panning out sales wise, they should know that and be able to make that change, because why are they wasting so much money? So, like, these are the things that we're trying to really shine a light on, I think. Because I think it'll be better for everybody at the end of the day. Yeah,
absolutely. And and like our goal is also to make sure that some of like these indie publishers that are making really good games, but maybe aren't getting highlighted because they're not buying ad space. They don't have the money to, pump into a certain kind of campaign or to pay certain content creators or whatever, are still getting, I don't want to say amplified, but they're still getting an equal opportunity to promote and showcase what they've got. Right. So
on the biggest platforms, because they've got a monopoly on advertising in that space, and they're able to charge you a fortune. And if you can't pay that, then basically your game never gets seen. Where we want to kind of break down those barriers and let these indie publishers have more access. Well, hopefully, if this site takes off like we hope it does, we can provide that outlet for them and really and kind of promote these smaller publishers into a louder space for an affordable entry fee.
Yeah, well, and for no entry fee in some cases.
In some cases,
part of the reason why we have like different landing pages is so that different audiences can go to a place where they know that they'll be able to find like, I need games for my family. I have, kids 5, 7, and 12, and this is my page. This is where I go to see like what's coming out, what's something that I can do. How does Kickstarter work? Like, that's kind of what we're looking to do. Yeah. Also from a publisher's side of things, we will have the ability for you to answer questions asked about your game. So even if your game's unpublished, we still have the question and answer discussion on your page available. So the way that this is set up is very similar to, we try to make this really intuitive. So it's kind of set up almost like a shopping experience where if you have somebody has a question about the game, or maybe they've played it in prototype or something and they want to ask a question about their experience, you can come on and answer that question. Yeah. Any paid user can come on and answer that question, but we would like to see publishers join with their usernames and avatars and things, clearly showing who they are and being able to come on and actually answer those questions. In addition to that, we have a lot of flexibility to do interviews. If you're getting a lot of questions about your game, maybe we do a post, tie it to your game page that goes over, here's a bunch of answers to a bunch of questions about this new game coming out, or a conversation or something like that. So we'll have a lot of input in terms of kind of curating that game's page so that it helps you explain the game that you're, promoting or the project that you're hoping to come to fruition.
What we want is for people to be able to go to a game page and not have to dig to find a piece of information. We want it all to be right there. Yeah. Right. That's the thing, and that's what we're hoping to get to. And that's like when you go to Amazon, you're like, hey, is this memory card going to work in this computer? Right. And that's usually the first question asked. Like, oh yeah, they answered it already. Yep, it works. I'm good. Yep. Like it's that intuitive, that simple, because those same questions are going to be asked. Maybe they create an errata to the rules or an FAQ. And we add that to the page, and then it's there forever.
And it is in a separate section, too. We've got, like, the rule books in a separate section.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be, I need to dig into a 30-page, discussion to find an answer for it. Like, that's what we want. Yeah. There's no forum.
Right, exactly.
And I think it's something we need to talk about. Like, there's no forum. I think we've mentioned this in the past, but I want to drive that point home. Right. There is no forum in this website at all for community discussion about anything outside of that particular game on that game page. Like, that's it.
That's why I said we've really funneled it so that if you have questions about a certain game, ask the questions about a game. Yeah. Like, you have a review about the game, experience with the game, whatever. You can talk about it. It's on the games page. It's tied to that game. There's really no other place for you to go to, like, talk about anything. That's it. We will have, and I won't say, like, out of the gate because we're being very intentional about what's being put out at launch and stuff. But something that I would love to do is, like, if you have a topic that you want to talk about, or you have something that you want to write, you want to talk about mechanics, you want to talk about your kid's favorite game, something like that, and you're not a content creator, you're just a mom, you know what I mean? We want to hear from you about what your experience in board gaming has been like and highlight that.
Yeah, send us in your opinion piece.
Send it in.
And we'll publish it.
And we'll do an op-ed.
Like, we're and it'll be front page, like, because that's where the news is, and those are articles.
The newspaper, if anybody remembers that. So
it is going to be...
That's kind of the feel that we're
We want this to be a community webpage, right? A website, like, so that it really promotes the gamers and that's and the publishers and the games. Like, that's what this place is all about, and that's what we're hoping that you get from it, and we hope that's why you want to come and join it.
Yeah. So is that I think that's pretty much it. So I guess just very briefly, I'll say, we're going to be going live very soon, dangerously soon, before this baby comes.
Yeah.
And we will be in, I guess what we would call like open beta at that point. So you'll be able to come in, use the site, try to break the site, let us know what's not working, what's working, what you like, what you don't. We will have some space for kind of surveys about your experience with it. We welcome your feedback and also your suggestions. And that's what, as we've been kind of showing this to a limited group of folks, it's been like, well, maybe we can do this, and maybe we can do that, and it would be really cool if we could do this and that and that. And we also have been spending the last year going, yes, all of that is cool, and kind of putting it on phase 2 or phase 3. So at this point, we're really looking for feedback on what we have and whether it works. We're open to those kinds of suggestions, because if it's something easy, we can do an easy lift and make some changes. But
one other main thing that you should also be aware of,
what's that?
The design of the look of the website is also made to fit on your phone and your mobile devices.
Oh, yeah,
That's a very, very important factor, because when you open the website on your phone, it doesn't look like a website that's shrunk down for your phone.
Yeah.
Because it's not formatted for your phone.
Oh my goodness.
This is like
reminded me. Yes.
Major.
Yeah.
Which, look, at some point we're going to want to get an app, but the fact that it works, that it's formatted to fit your phone intentionally,
right,
you almost don't need an app, because it's made intuitively to work for
I would say, app is definitely like our phase 2. We've already started talking to our developers and stuff about it.
But app is like the only time we're really thinking about.
We're not thinking about it because we need it.
The intention of the app, really, in my opinion, if we were going to actually, when we decide to go that route, is so that you can literally scan a UPC code on a game at a game store and it adds it to your collection.
Right. I mean, like
or your want list. Like that's what we want functionally. Which we'll get to when we think it's the right time to do it.
Yeah.
Which is next phase. But right now it already fits on your phone, so it doesn't really no matter.
Yeah, that's cool. I just thought of a couple of other things that we did add tools wise, but I think I'll keep those secret for now.
We can't really can't give out all the answers right now. So so that's it. We're going to cover one more topic, and then we're going to close the video.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, so our final topic is about branding.
Branding, this is our favorite thing to do.
And if you've been with us for a while, we've branded and rebranded and done so many different things. We've become so many different entities over the last few years. But I think I think this was kind of like leading towards one place, where we were trying to find our way. Where was our end goal, right? Yeah. And the Board Game Nexus was really our end goal, right? That's what became our end goal. That was
our big pivot.
Yeah, our big pivot, because we had to decide whether or not, like, are we gonna be content creators? And,
are we gonna create board game videos?
Yeah, so did I want that to be like our end game? Be like, yes, I create board game videos on YouTube. Like that's our pinnacle. That's where we've made it. Like that's where we want to be. And I personally, no, to me that wasn't fulfilling. That wasn't my end goal. I didn't think I like doing it.
We were there for a while.
Yeah, we were there for a while. We thought we were going to do it, but I'm like, you know what? This is really just sort of a stepping stone to get to something bigger, at least in my own personal opinion. Not to knock anybody who does this for a living, but it's just, that's not what I want to do. I have a full-time job, honestly, that I love. I've got my dream job right now, so this literally is just for fun. So that's not where I wanted to land. When the Board Game Nexus idea popped up with us, that became our end game in this hobby, right? We were going to just create the biggest thing we could possibly do to give back to the community. There's definitely a place for it, a need for it, without a doubt. And we hope we fill sort of that void, right?
Yeah.
So with that said, we are currently How It Plays, right? Like that's our YouTube channel, that's our brand. But we are going full into the Board Game Nexus. Yeah,
it's going to be, we've been talking about it, and it's going to be really hard to try and manage two brands when, like, obviously we own the Board Game Nexus. We are not the Board Game Nexus. We are part of the Board Game Nexus, but it's going to be a bigger entity than just us. And in order for us to put 100% into it, we have to like make that final kind of pivot, I think. And it was
like
really hard for us. It is like
We're
a
like
metamorphosis.
A caterpillar turning into a beautiful butterfly.
We're like a very hungry caterpillar.
Yes.
But yeah, so it's kind of like, if we're going to do reviews for games, which we will continue to do, we're just going to put them on our channel and then also put it, because we're obviously going to put them on the Nexus.
We're going to put How It Plays videos, you know what I mean? On the Nexus. We could, and we'll just be a content creator on the Nexus, but it's like, we are the Nexus. Like, this is,
right, exactly.
We're part of it. We're part of this bigger entity, right? Every content creator that provides content for the Nexus is part of the Nexus, right? It's a network.
Yeah.
So it's like I said, it's an entity. So we are not going to be our YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel is going to be the Nexus YouTube channel.
Right. Exactly.
And it's going to consist of content that goes beyond just what we put out. Mm-hmm. Like, that's the intent. It's going to be a network. So to continue to call it How It Plays down the road is not going to make much sense. It's just going to be the Board Game Nexus YouTube channel. Yeah,
and that way we have a place to put, our tutorial videos and our, like for the website, but also, when we get a game into review, publishers, it's not just going on our YouTube channel, and that was never the intent. Mm-hmm. Like, we have the footage, we've got an investment in this website.
Yeah.
We're obviously going to put that on the website.
Yep.
So it makes most sense kind of for us to do all of our kind of business through Board Game Nexus.
Yes.
And that's why we're just going to change.
And we're going to rely on our content creator partners to contribute videos and other content to the Nexus as well.
Which you will also see here, in addition to, I think, their own channel.
Yeah, you'll see their stuff on there. We're not going to limit them from posting their content on their channels. They can post it their channels, but we also want to post it on the Board Game Nexus channel, which will be this channel you're watching right now. So that's the only real change. We're still going to be doing content, and that shouldn't change for you. Mm-hmm. It's just that we're kind of like bringing all of our entities in to one place.
Right.
And that's where we're going to settle, and this is where we're going to ride off into the sunset. And we're going to be the sort of like the engine behind this monolith, what I'm hoping it becomes, like this giant entity of its own that grows its own arms and legs. And like, look, we have, like I said, we've got a small team of content creators who are geared up to contribute to the website. Mm-hmm. We are definitely looking for others to fill certain categories.
I would say we're interested.
We're not like actively going out and recruiting, but we are definitely open if content creators think they could contribute quality content to the Nexus.
Especially in a niche, because like, again, what we're really looking for is like the folks that we kind of have on board helping us out with some things right now are, specialize in certain things. A lot of them are actually for our mentees from our mentorship program who really had a very good direction in terms of why they are in this. Mm-hmm. And if you can answer that question, if you can say, here's why I'm in this, and you can be honest about it, we would love to foster that. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. So
and look, don't give us a bunch of you guys should take these people. You guys should have these people on here. No, we don't want that. We're being very particular about what content we bring into this place.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to be cautious not to say like who we bring in, but it kind of what the content
is. It's about the specific content. We're not just gonna, like I said, we don't want to open the floodgates and just have loads and loads of overwhelming content that really doesn't add a lot of value. Mm-hmm. We want certain types of content categorically that fits different segments within the website.
So I'll give you an example. So for example, if you are somebody who specializes in like wargaming, right? Or what are those like 18xx games?
18xx games like we don't know.
Those aren't things that we don't do.
Yeah. But if you're
I don't know anybody who does it, and right now I don't have anybody who is like I know that wants to cover that kind of thing.
Right. If you're a couple that plays like Euros.
Yeah. If you're a couple that plays Euros, it's
probably redundant. But, if you're someone who covers Kickstarters, like we already have that.
Right.
You know what I mean, if you're...
well, I mean, people cover Kickstarters in different ways.
But we need to figure that out, right? Like, is that... Like, it's not like end all be all, but if
that's where we need to kind of
evaluate.
Like, you should kind of know what it is that you're passionate about. Mm-hmm. That passion should come through.
Right.
And if you're one of those people, then, we'd love to hear from you. That's all we're trying to say.
Yeah. Like, there's definitely room for content. And we're definitely looking in our own way, not actively. So just putting that out there, because we definitely want to have a good amount of content available for you, but not an overwhelming amount of content that's just so that you don't even know what you want to watch. Like, oh my God, there's like 50 videos here, of which like 2 of them are worth watching. Like, I don't really want to see that. Like, and none of it really makes sense. So we just, like I said, we're trying to be very careful and intentional about what we're doing.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So that's about it. I think that wraps it up.
I think that wraps it up. Right. I need another drink.
Yeah. So, like we said, we're weeks away.
Yes.
We're obviously going to go and push out the advertising on this when it does go live, and when we feel like we're ready to just open the gates and just let everybody in. That'll come.
I'm so scared.
Yeah, it's very scary because we want to make sure that we're not over-promising and under-delivering. Right?
I don't think we are.
I like to under-promise and over-deliver. That's like the key to success.
I just don't like to deliver at all.
Well, tell you what.
I like to refine in secret.
At the end of the day, with what we've seen on the final product and what we're looking at, it looks hot and it looks sexy. Like, that's just the truth of it, to be quite honest. And I'm not just being biased. Like, I'm looking at it like, yeah, that's pretty hot. Like, for a board game website, it's pretty hot. So that's what it should be, though, when you go onto a website for your favorite hobby.
Yeah.
You should be excited, about it, right? And you should be like, wow, that looks good. And my collection looks really sick on this website.
Yeah.
Like, that's how it should be. So that's what we're hoping to deliver. But
cool.
That's it. Anything else?
Nope.
All right. That's our update. We hope you enjoyed it. Reach out to us if you have any questions.
Yeah, drop them in the comments.
Thoughts.
We'll answer the questions.
Drop them in the comments. We will absolutely answer that. We're open for any thoughts, ideas, suggestions too. Because we're always looking to think about the next phase of enhancements to the website as we go go through this journey. And I think that's it. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
All right. See ya.